A man who has never failed, hasn't learned, hasn't grown. Yet, why is it that we as a society come together to applaud the people who succeed? Yet, rarely do we sit down with somebody who failed and talk to him to share his life lessons. Here, I'm going to change all of that. Hello everyone, I'm Mannsi Agrawal and you're watching If I Had Not Failed on News 24, brought to you straight from Hotel Yakinyati. On this show, I'm going to normalize failure. I'm going to speak to some of the most successful people in the country and talk to them about their stories of struggle so that we can give hope and inspiration to the next generation. My guest today is an entrepreneur the entire country is proud of. He is responsible for building from scratch many businesses that have really impacted our community. Today, we find him as the president of the Nepal Chamber of Commerce. And I know for a fact that he's extremely passionate about ensuring financial prosperity for each citizen. He is vocal, he is passionate, he is an inspiration. He is none other than Mr. Rajendra Malla. Namaste, sir. Thank you so much for agreeing to come. It really means a lot that you came here and you decided to share your stories and everything else along with that. Thank you so much for being here.
Namaste. Thank you very much for inviting me here.
I'm so glad, sir, you could make it. So, my first question to you is the same question that I ask just about everybody, and that is, what do you consider your greatest failure and why?
Actually, during my younger age, I have faced failures, but I work hard on it and I came out from the failure stage, and regularly I'm working for my better character, or how to enhance my business and how can I serve the nation. So I'm taking part to be better, learning from failure.
Excellent, sir. Can you think of one such example where you wanted to achieve something, you wanted to succeed and you could not? Can you think of an example like that?
Actually, in my teenage years, about age of 16, I have passed SLC exam, and I joined morning time college, and daytime I started small grocery business in Chhatrapati. But due to the credit system, that business is failure from me. So after that, I decided to focus on study, and regularly I attend my college. And then, with colleagues also, we have some friends that all the time I like to talk with business society friend or guardian or parents. If my friends, do the business and their family, I want to, connect with their parents to learn something. And later on, I started to do business from Hong Kong. In 1982, I went in Hong Kong with the support of my friend father and doing some, at the time we call Chitigunta business. I started that business.
That's amazing, but for me what's most amazing is at the age of 16,
yes,
you failed.
Yes.
Now any other child, again I'm going to say child because at 16 you are like a child. Yes. Any other child or any other person at that age, if they would have failed, they would have said, now this is not for me. Maybe I should never do business again. But what gave you the courage and the confidence to say, okay, this failed, but I'm going to learn more. Let me speak to my friend's father. What gave you that courage from within?
Actually, all the time I look for the business. My mind is always for business, business, business. This thing I, hear from my father when I was very small years. My father used to say that the service holder, even cannot properly take your wife from their monthly salary. If the businessman, when they become success, and businessman can even foster the elephant. This is my, inspiration from my father. So that's why all the time I focus on how can I do the business, and I did various kind of business, in my life, 20 to 40, years, 20 years, from morning 9 a.m. to evening 6 p.m. I work for the business, and I all the time try for new business, and my investment portfolio is in diversification. So I'm not focused only one business. So if I make some money, I invest another sector also.
Right. It's amazing to hear that, and that you were inspired by your father. And I've never heard that saying before, you know, you can take care of an elephant. That I think is something I'll remember, because it just gives you a different way of thinking and a different mindset. Now, at that age when you failed, did you take responsibility for it? Did you think it was your fault that you failed? Or did you think the situation was not right, the time was not right? Why do you think you failed at that point?
Actually, you know, I want to do some, but I'm not mature to do that kind of business. So I feel that I must learn more. So then I focus to learn with, you know, corporate sector businessmen, and I get attachment with them. And gradually, you know, how to say, Bikram Sambat 2042, I started one joint venture trading company. And that company, I used to do, you know, global tender and supply to diplomatic office, UN. So I started from that business. And gradually, I think that that supply business also, you know, sometimes not cash in hand. Okay, so I wanted regular money income. So then I established auto business in Kamaladi, and this auto spare parts and auto service center. From that, I made some successful.
That's amazing. So you speak about diversification, you talk about sort of averaging out, and then you're successful overall. But here's my question to you, because right now when you told me, you said you started with a grocery business, then you did trading, then you got into auto and spare parts, and then after that did not do very well, you again sort of pivoted. You again changed the direction of what business you were doing. So here's what I think. Was it easy for you to change from one kind of business or one industry to the other because you understood business, or because you were learning every industry and what you needed to contribute?
Actually, you know, what I feel is, you know, we should learn more, whether industry or businesses. We should take passion. Sometimes we must failure, but if we take passion, we'll have success. So same way, you know, the business is going on change, and after that I focus on, you know, investment for, especially for industry side, you know, banking, insurance. I focus that way, and some trading company. You know, before I have an agency of TCL, electronics company, solely of Nepal. But after working more than 10 years, that company changed the distributorship to others. And again, I failed. I lost a lot of money. You know, we should make dealers nationwide. And when I cannot, you know, rotate my transaction, then credit money is very difficult to recover. And then I totally forgot that business. I started another industry way, hydropower, you know. I lost some money, but every year I'm making money from different sector. So what I feel is, in Nepal, actually, Mannsi, this country is little behind because of credit business. So I would like to, you know, focus. The business should be in cash basis, digitalization. Then country can go ahead. If we do credit business, nobody know what happened in the future. So this is, you know, I'm in Chamber Forum also now. From Chamber, every year in the budget, I advise government to let's make cash transaction and digitalization. Even sometime, you know, check payment bounce should be make, you know, blacklisted such people. And let's, you know, we have to practice to making money cash with a developed country. If we go Europe or even USA or this day China, India, you know, they all the time deal in cash basis. In past, they have credit system, now must be cash. So this, we must upgrade our country also, dealing cash transaction and digitalization.
That's a great point, and I think you make it so strongly because you faced a lot because of this credit system that we have with your grocery store as well as with TCL. Now, when you work on a business, like let's say the dealership of TCL, you literally bring it up like you would bring up a baby. At that point, to see it go, how did that impact you emotionally?
Actually, you know, this agency TCL business, totally my family, involved. My wife, she look after the finance and everything. So due to, I already told you, due to credit headache, and my wife also, she's also very much tired. Let's forget this business. So then we invest in another sector, and we are doing mostly in the industry sector now, and service sector, hotel, and tourism sector like helicopter. I also am running these days, but again kind of failure due to COVID.
Right.
Right. So I have different kind of business in my hand these days. So some business is failure, making little loss. Some business is regularly making income. So we should take passion. Let's see after a couple of months or year, again tourism business also enhance.
Right. That's great. I like the optimism with which you say that, because some businesses might be failing right now, not making as much money or maybe making losses, but some are sort of sustaining and keeping that going. Now, as an entrepreneur, how difficult is it to let go of a business that's making losses? Or do you like to hold on for a while and see and evaluate and think about it before you decide to let go of a business?
If some business, become risks, whatever we part is risks, and we must give up right away. We must think new business. So if we plan such a way, failure together with success also come. If we, hanging on failure and thinking, so we cannot go ahead. So we must go ahead, and we must, make comfortable and feel that sometime loss, sometime, success. So truly, in life or in a year, whether we are successful or not, that we need to evaluate, I think.
I like that you say we don't evaluate on a day-wise basis, but we evaluate over a year. I think this is a great insight, because so many times we're like, oh, today was not a good day. And we start sort of pulling ourselves down and discouraging ourselves because of it. I personally do that as well sometimes. But to hear you say that ultimately it's the average, it is what you do over the year that matters, right? This, I think, is a great, very, very practical tip that anyone can use when they think about how their days are going. Right now is anyways the pandemic, and people are suffering and struggling so much. Any other practical tips like this that you use every time you want to get over a setback?
Actually, what I like to suggest in our society, that we must be productive, and we must need to change our society. Like as I told you that from the service holder and businessman, but these days is system is totally changed. Even in one couple, husband handle one business and the wife handle another business. Service sector also, both of them work in office, and children also these days very advanced, and they are also trying to earn money. So which is like these days like Pathao or something Yes. So the teenager, they go morning time college, and daytime they do some Pathao service and make some money. They might earn 400-500 rupees, which will cover for tuition fee. Right. This should be gradually developed in our country. If we 3 years back, I went to Canada. So in Canada, the system is when people become 16 years, they must work part-time. Okay. Whether father rich or stable, doesn't matter. So they feel they must earn money for the tuition or something, pocket money. This is the system in Canada, you see. If we adopt such kind of system in Nepal, our almost young people are, I suppose my history, I started working from 16 years. When I become 20 years, I get married, early married, because I was, last children of my parents, and my father was sick at that time, and he wanted that me to be married. He wanted to see, and I married due to the father, request or his wish, and my father also dead, and then my pressure on here is coming, and I have to care my wife and Then we are staying with joint family, with brother together. When my father was doing alive, I was very free and pocket money from father and mother also. But after father death, I'm like a totally helpless. So I think I must do something. Then when I was 22 years, I make a house myself.
Within 2 years?
Within 2 years, because after my father, this is my reality of history, that after my father, we have some, some gems, jewelry, or ornament, like silver, gold, and they distribute. And I sold that thing. There is some land for me from my father in Batisputali. I sold such gold and such, why? If I make money, I can, again buy. And my wife and we two decide and sell it out and make house. I made house in 22 years. And after that, also gradually, my sons, 2 sons also, I have. And after getting son, also another pressure on me. But I all the time work hard, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and a different kind of business, different level people meeting, and I don't know where is money. I jump on that, and so gradually failure and success. But every year I'm becoming successful. I feel so, but still I'm learning. Still maybe again failure, but we should take passion and we must go ahead.
I love that. I love that you say that at the age of 22 you made a house.
Yes.
That is when most children these days
Yes.
are thinking about Lucky Garnita. Like,
Yes.
what do I want to do with my life? And it's amazing at that point you had the focus and the foresight that you wanted your own house to
Yes.
stay in. That was amazing. But here's something else. So in management, we always talk about the 10,000 hour rule. If you do something for 10,000 hours, you become excellent at it. 10,000 hours of playing a sport, 10,000 hours of practicing an art, 10,000 hours of being a businessman. In your case, because you started at the age of 16, you started very early. Whether you succeeded or failed is different.
Yeah.
Do you think you managed to get in your 10,000 hours of practice to become a great businessman early? Because of that, do you think that helped? Starting early?
Definitely, I already start business and marriage, like everything. You see, if you see my son, like now, about 32 years. So people think I'm still young, but I already crossed more than 50. But what I mean is we have to be, very much sensitive and keep, word and honest, which can lead our life. Mostly, if we have lack of, honesty, even you have an empire of money, you may fall down anytime. But we should not do like that. We must be honest in doing business, in friendship, or for society. Also together, we must be social also. While we do something or making money, we must contribute for the society also. This kind of nature I have. Also doing some social service. I born in Sanko village, and the school where I read, and I built college for my contribution part, and I'm a chairman of that college now, Pagyode. And same way, we have Vajrayogini and Salinadi, very famous holy place, and I used to do contribution for their making, goddess decoration, some like a party or something, a bhajan, this kind of thing. Service also I used to do from my earning portion, and I also put some seed money, like a called fund. From that fund, get some interest and to run the social service in Sanko village I'm doing. So I feel feel happy that I'm doing for my village, also doing for society. As gradually now I'm in Chamber of Commerce president, I also must think for the nation. This is my responsible, and I plan that this stage, how can I develop SMEs, women entrepreneur, farmer, this needs to be enhanced for our nation. Basically, we also need bigger industry or middle, but we must grow SMEs, women, and farmer, because almost 82% are SMEs here in Nepal. So from Chamber Forum, now I'm focusing that how can we, develop to SMEs, like how to say, mostly farmer side. If you go, the farmer when they want to sell their crops, they don't give real value. They will be middleman, and we also consumer, and they need to buy in a high price. So now from Chamber Forum, I'm trying to remove this middleman. Let's get some basic, producer profit. Also consumer also get some good price. This is very, very much essential from Chamber Forum, and now I'm working for develop this kind of system. And let's see. I'm also proposing to government level to how you can support to SMEs. So in budget we suggest, but not practically, it's not implementing. But let's see, we are working hard, and we are asking different way from the Pradesh government or central, let's see, local. Let's we try. Sometimes I feel very unhappy that even food grains, we are agricultural country. We import food grains more than how to say recurva. That is
huge
as a agricultural country, huge amount. So we must be productive, and our nation also should think for production wise, not all the time import and taking custom, from the custom making budget plan. They used to say, okay, Birganj custom this much budget, custom we need, Bhairava, Viratnagar or something, where our government make plan on budget from the custom. This should be erased in our nation. We must need to generate money from the income tax, VAT, export promotion, which is very essential. From Chamber, I'm trying to work for it. Let's see.
Great. It's so nice to hear of all these contributions and these ideas and all these plans that you're putting into place to better strategize what the government is doing along with the Chamber. Now, according to you, do you think being at, in such a huge organization, being so in charge of things, do you think it's more of a responsibility or something that pressurizes you?
No, of course, responsibility, not pressurized. This is a Chamber is voluntary organization, and while we enter there, we must work for nation and business society, not for individual.
Right.
So I think if whatever we suggest to government, if government implement it timely, I think national development can go fast. But our country has such a problem and hurdles that they listen and doesn't implement. This is the problem. This thing, we are talking seriously. Chamber and other federation also, we are requesting, let's join hand together to enhance our country and make independent. This kind of dialogues, we are also other federation talking. So let's see, government also will understand. Government is our guardian, but they must listen us. But here, still, sometimes leadership change in the government, and the bureaucracy also not stable. This is the main problem here. So my feeling is, even sometime government leaders change, it doesn't matter. Okay, that is democratic practice, and your competition each other. But bureaucracy must be strong to develop the country.
Right. So, sir, let me now get you to your own business. We spoke about your contribution on the larger front, and towards the country, the economy, the community. Now let's talk about you and your own business. Yeah. So I know you're handling many diverse kinds of businesses where you've invested. How much of day-to-day participation do you generally have in your own business?
So almost I have 7-8 group of companies, I invested. I just participate in the board meeting only. I don't go regular. And if something become difficulty, right away I visit there. Otherwise, there is CEO system, MD system, and corporate system. So I don't need to go personally there. And while we conduct meeting, I used to advise what is happening in the world. I believe on these days, holding company business. Because less, I also benefit, people also benefit. Not a private one, single one, sole proprietorship. This country must develop holding company system and investment company by the businessmen, industrialists, also common people like hydropower, banking, insurance. If some good company should be limited company, this is my feeling. So I want to develop such kind of business company in Nepal. I'm working on it.
Amazing, sir. But tell me one thing. Every time you do a business, if it does well, great. There's a group of people and everyone's sharing the credit, the benefits, or whatever it is. If something doesn't do very well, how do you talk to yourself about it? How do you discuss with yourself?
No, in the corporate business, especially there will be, regular internal audit, external auditor. Also, their balance sheet also need to be forecast quarterly in the national paper. Must keep in the website. This is very sensitive business, and if some people may happen, may happen some accident, but there is rules there, and as per the rules, public-owned company, people cannot cheat easily. If individual company, sometime that can be happen in our country, mostly due to the individual company, sometimes they trust on their staff, and I have seen somebody bankrupt even. So this is corporate company is people investment. So all the people will be benefit, and there is system. Even possible whatever, even grocery business can be a limited company. This kind of thing we have to practice in our nation, so that every people can enjoy from industry and business. This rule to be established very strongly in our nation.
Right. So I wasn't really hinting at some kind of malpractices. What I was saying is, when things are not going according to your plans, you have a particular vision for a particular company. You want to start something and you have a vision for it. But something is not going as per your plans, for whatever external, internal reasons. How do you talk to yourself about it? What do you say?
Mostly in my organization, definitely I put good things. They accept it easily. I don't put negative thing. I'm a positive person, and in company or organization, I used to suggest whatever I learned from international level. This is the practice we need to do. One more thing I would like to put to you, that now even government, I'm asking to generate revenue, more revenue. We have these days mostly very popular. Every people making money. Land and housing business. The broker of the land and housing, the broker even doesn't need their PAN card or citizenship. Anybody can be a agent. But if we make this land and building business broker license system, like will we buy the share of company like banking, insurance, hydro, there will be company, right? We must go to the company. If we establish such a broker company in land and housing business, our country can generate more money. So this thing we have to be focused. But I already give suggestion in the budget, but it is not implementing. Again, this is coming budget, I will struggle again for it, which is very good, essential for our nation.
Right. So you said I already gave a suggestion for the budget, but it was not implemented.
Yes.
How do you feel when that happens? When you're saying something?
I'm irritated for this. Because I personally talked to secretary, finance secretary, why not coming this thing? Okay, we have some, directory, make a directory, and from the ministry, we will implement. But they don't implement, I don't know why. But regularly, I will keep this, my force, and every time I put in media, this is essential for our nation. One day they must, follow it.
So in spite of that sort of frustration or irritation, what makes you go on?
Sometimes, we are Nepali born here and we die here, there is no doubt. Sometimes bureaucracy hurdle, and you see massive traffic system in the road. Nobody care others. Everybody want to go ahead and before. This system should be, systematic. While we was, young years, teenager, Kathmandu is very clean, very calm city. Now you see, you can houses also develop not proper way. Some same place, one house maybe 10 floor, another house maybe 5th floor or 2 floor. This should be systemized. This thing I also suggest Mayor of Kathmandu, also Lalitpur, let's do something. If from airport to suppose come around the main road, at least house color to be similar. No matter inside whatever they do, but main road, if we go Europe or developed city, they make a even Calcutta, very beautiful buildings over there systematically is coming. This nation also practice this thing, and if like core area, we have small houses. This government should make rule and land pooling and make a building and give them apartment. We have to do a lot of things. So properly we should manage this area. Still we are back. I feel very pain about it.
So as an entrepreneur, I understand the passion with which you speak, and I understand that you sometimes feel pained about certain things. But this is my final question to you.
Yes.
What are the 3 main things you've learned from your entire journey that you think youngsters like us can benefit from? So what are your 3 main lessons or messages that you would like to give the younger generation?
Especially number 1 is honesty. Number 2 is should be nationalist. And number 3 is, practical. This is my feeling, this if we think this thing, nationalist should be, and we must be practical, also need honest. If we follow these 3 things, I think young generation also can develop.
That's amazing, sir. It's so nice to hear how passionately you speak not only about business, but also about how every businessman has to give back. And it is in a way a responsibility and a duty of every businessman to give back to the country.
Sure.
Thank you so much, sir. It was wonderful having this conversation with you. I truly enjoyed listening to all of these different ideas that you have about how you would like to take your role and responsibility as somebody at the helm of affairs at the Chamber of Commerce forward with the government. Thank you so much, sir. It's been a pleasure listening to you, and I'm so glad we got a chance to talk about this and share all these thoughts. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mannsi. You too.
Thank you. Today's conversation with Mr. Malla was very significant, and I learnt many different things about how seriously he takes his responsibility at the helm of affairs of the Nepal Chamber of Commerce. I had 2 amazing takeaways. Number 1, no businessman, no entrepreneur, nobody at all should look at success and failure or losses and profits on a day-to-day basis. When you average them out over the year, that's when you get a true understanding of how you're doing and how you're faring in your business. The other thing that was very significant was when he spoke about how everyone over the age of 16 should be working. This is really important because not only does it help to build character, not only do youngsters learn skills that they can use in their lives, but it also contributes to nation building. Finally, I'd just like to say thank you so much to Mr. Malla, not just for his time, not just for his words, but also for being the best representative of the private sector in this country and for putting forward his thoughts so eloquently for the entire nation to learn from. Thank you.